Hi everyone and welcome back to 321
Resolved.
I'm Dave.
I'm Meg.
And I'm Lance. And here on this podcast, we're going to be talking about some unimportant things.
We're going to try and make them important.
And then we're going to resolve them.
So here's the intro.
Three, two, one, resolved.
We're going to talk about near-death experiences and does it change how you live your life? I think all of us collectively have had some sort of near-death experience in our life, varying levels. Lance, you look like you've got one you want to share.
All right. So when I was younger, I accidentally jumped on a shark.
Okay, right. Give me a second to take that in. Context?
Yes. So I was younger. We go camping near a place just off the coast of Queensland. It's a small campsite, but it has a jetty or a wharf connected to it that goes straight out into a channel. That channel passes through the Pacific Ocean, so it's like the main channel for this bay to get.
I am aware from Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
The EAC
channel. Yeah, I see squirt there all the time. But it's like it's like the fish highway for this bay, essentially.
Yeah, gotcha.
When we were kids, we used to jump on this jetty all the time, just to obviously cool down because we were at a beach, all that sort of stuff. It was a very popular place. It was never quiet. There was always people jumping there. And we used to do this thing where we would start halfway down the jetty and then just get a run up and just dive as far as we can off into the channel. It was a thing we just did. It was fun. One day we get there. I'm first. Got all my friends behind me. Start running. Get into the crowd. Crowd separating while I'm running through. We didn't really take in that nobody was jumping off the jetty at that point.
No red flags at
No
this
red
point?
flags. So I'm like, I'm gonna dive.
Freedom!
Yep, I'm gonna fly. I'm just gonna jump. I'm gonna touch the mainland. That's what I was thinking. So we're running through. I run through the crowd. As my foot is like leaving the edge of the wharf, I hear somebody mention the word shark behind me.
The S word.
Yeah.
I'm flying through the air. I look down, and in my own mind, when I was a kid, I swear I saw Jaws. It would have been like 7 meters in my head. It was probably like a 1.5 meter, like grey nurse or something like that. But in my head, I was about to die.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've jumped meters off this jetty. Yeah, this is it. This is it. I fly down. I land directly on it.
Surprise!
Yeah. The next memory I have after that is on the jetty, hyperventilating, wet.
So you don't know what happened in between?
No. Apparently I hit the water. Sharks bolted because some little dickheads just jumped on it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've just swum for my life to the spot you get up out of the water. And then that's when I remember just being there, having a panic attack, like, oh my God, I just did that. Yeah.
And were the people like around the jetty, they were like, dude, that was wild.
Yeah, people were like screaming, shouting. I had some adults down there, like obviously would have helped me out of the water.
Was there? I feel like there should have been someone there with like maybe a cello or something that was going jun 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 jun.
No, one of those like alfoil like heat things that they give like shock patients.
Trauma.
Yeah, trauma blanket.
Unreal.
Okay,
yeah.
so jumping on a shark, potentially what, like a grey nurse or something like that?
Yeah, it could have been a bully. It could have been a
Yeah,
grey nurse. No, nobody knows.
Yeah.
But that's not the best part. The best part, well, it was the best part. But the next part is I'm there with all my friends. Nobody followed me in because they had the decency to stop after they saw me leave and then people screaming. Mm-hmm. We then went back to the campsite, which I might say, as the crow flies, in clear view of the jetty and about 300, 400 meters away. We walk back to the campsite. My family's there with my aunties and uncles and stuff. It's like, I don't know, like 1 p.m. in a campsite. So they're already pissed because that's just how it works. I tell them the story. I'm like, yeah, so I've just jumped on a shark. And they were like, come on.
Yeah.
No,
Tall tale.
that's not happening. No attention to the people screaming on the jetty. No attention to anything happening around them. They were just like, nah, didn't happen, whatever. Fob it off. Here's some money. Go get a pie. Shut up.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Go have some ice cream. We don't care. Later that night, they were doing the dishes at like a communal camp kitchen in the campsite, and they heard other people talking about
Telling you
the
a story.
situation. And they were like, "Oh, can you give us a bit more information?" Like, yeah, brown skin, brown hair, little kid. What happened? They're like, "Oh, that's our son." Yeah, we thought he was lying. And we're like, "No, he jumped on a shark."
Jeez.
Denied by your own family.
Yeah, and they were like,
That's probably the more traumatic part, right?
yeah, I mean, it's a list of many other times I've been denied my own family. It's just when it started, really. That's a box to unpack. Let's not get into that.
Make a note for another episode.
It's all good. Yeah, but then I had to talk to these other people. They're like, they couldn't figure out why he'd done it. They were like, he just jumped on the shark. Nobody knew why. And they're like, no, he told us it was an accident. And these people are like, how do you accidentally jump on a shark? And that's how.
When you have a running start.
Have a running start. Had velocity. Nobody was stopping me. No parental supervision.
I mean, the probability of that happening has to be so low.
No. Yeah. Surely nobody's ever going to do it again.
Well, yeah. Like, I think the chances of a shark swimming past at the exact moment.
Yeah.
Like, you could have gone a second after and it would have been long gone and you would never have known. Like, how many times have you jumped in the water and a shark's taken off that you've had no idea was there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a pretty prominent place too, like I said, Pacific Ocean's just through the channel, so it's pretty common place to find that sort of sea life. So sharks do actually get spotted there a fair bit.
Okay.
But the best part is, I don't even know how young I was. I would have been like, I think just into double digits.
Yeah.
I've been going there, and I still go there. I've been going there for 25 years straight. Every year of my life, I've been going there, and I still now jump off that jetty. I was there 3 months ago jumping off that jetty as well.
Okay, so...
Do you look before you jump?
I sure do. I have a good perusal first, and then I jump in the water afterwards.
It's based on that. Has your life changed at all?
It did for a bit. Like, I was pretty fearful. I'm still a bit fearful of sharks now, but it's more like one of those, like, I'll be nervous, but if I was at SeaWorld, I'd probably still get in the tank. I would just not be comfortable.
Yeah, what's like your trigger?
Oh, sharks.
Write that down. Sharks.
Yeah, no, if I was in the water and somebody was like, there's a shark in the water, I don't know what I'd do. I reckon
You'd
I'd
be like
freeze up.
Looney Tunes where you run across the top of the water.
Or I just wouldn't remember. I'd just wake up on the beach.
You'd be hyperventilating.
Yeah.
But like, to be fair, I think most people would too.
It's a pretty common fear,
without jumping on a
Yeah,
shark.
you're
So
right,
it's like,
you're right.
Shark!
Shark. Lance runs out. Everyone else is like, loser.
Yeah, every time we go to a party and somebody's like, oh, I'm so scared of sharks. I'm like, yeah, you want to bet? I'm scared of sharks more.
You don't know what scared is.
But yeah, it did change a fair bit of how I thought about things. It changed more like my mindset before doing irrational tasks or even remedial tasks. And that was kind of one of those pinnacle moments where I was like, I'm going to start thinking before I'm doing.
So some more like calculated risk taking.
Exactly, yeah. But it's fine because I'm very bad at maths. So I'm still doing a fair few risks.
You don't need a calculator to make calculated risks.
To make a risk assessment.
Spoiler alert.
Risk assessment, I'm like, fun, danger, it's all good. I'll figure it out
We
afterwards.
do the long division on that. We're good to go.
Carry the two.
Find Pythagoras, and I can make that jump.
So did you like relive it or anything like that?
The next year going back, I didn't touch the water for the rest of that trip because it was fairly close to the end anyway. The next year going back was quite nerving. Like I hadn't been there for 12 months, and the last time I got in this water, I tried to suck a punch of sharks, so I didn't really want to get back in. But yeah, after a couple of days, I worked back into it.
Would you say that would you make sure there's other people in the water before you jump? Like, was that a thing that you consciously did where you're like, okay, well, there's other people in there, so statistically...
It was always a numbers game.
I've got a 10% chance of it going for me.
I do that when I'm just at the beach.
Same.
I'm like, I never want to be the furthest person out.
No.
Yeah, it's always
neither.
a numbers game. It's like the penguin mentality. If there's enough of us,
Yes.
I should be a little bit safer than I am by myself.
Literally.
But it kind of dispels a bit of like myth about the sharks as well, about them being like serial killer hunters, where like realistically it just panicked when it got someone drop in on it.
I reckon that very much depends on the shape of the human as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I'm a pretty wiry dude. Like I don't have a whole lot to me, so they probably look at me and they're like, oh, it's not enough meat, you know?
That's not food.
Nah, not enough.
It's not ripe yet.
Yeah, appetizers. If I was like 40, you know, a bit heavier, it should be right.
A dad.
A dad, yeah, classic dad.
Yeah.
Meg, you had a...
Yeah, well, speaking of like, well, I would almost say let's go down like the water category. I had a life-changing experience when I was probably 14 years old, I reckon. It was in the school holidays, and one of my friends from school, she invited me to go to a diving class. right? So it was just at the local, like, swimming complex. And yeah, I was like stoked for it. I've, as a child, like everyone wants to jump off the diving board. I've never jumped off a diving board.
Looks cool.
Yeah. So I was like, this is sick. I was like, yeah, I'll go. Sign me up. It was one of these like, school holiday activities. So her mum took us, and before we got to do the swimming and the diving part, we had to go into the gymnastics room next door to practice like on the diving boards, because they've got the diving boards into the foam pits. And I must have been one of the first ones in line to jump. And I was given no instructions, just diving board, foam pit,
Start here,
go,
end here.
line up. Yeah,
Kid
and I was
number
like,
one's always like that, right? It's just like the practice run.
yeah, literally. And so I was like, yeah, sick. And I have no gymnastics ability. Like I'm no flipper. I can't backflip. I can't front flip.
I just picture a dolphin.
Same.
What's wrong, boy? I can't.
Is there a boat sinking?
But I see a dive board and I'm like, yeah, I can somersault. Yeah, I can.
That right there, I'm going to make that my bitch.
Come at me.
So I'm like, all right, I'm up. I'm jumping on this board and I was like, this is great. I flip.
Instinct.
I overturn the flip and I land diagonally, like head down into the foam pit, right? Which the foam, you got to do a practice jump. You got to jump in feet first to really like be like, oh, right, that's how it feels when you land, not neck first.
Do everything you can.
Yeah.
Did you do the thing where you like kick yourself in the back of the head?
Like a scorpion?
Yeah, or did you knee
It's got
yourself?
a name.
Yeah, when your legs come over as well once you land. It's called a scorpion.
Oh.
No, well, probably a little bit. But yeah, I've landed diagonally down like on my neck. It's cracked as well. There was a cracking sound. I felt this shooting pain go down my spine. And instantly was like hurting. And I've just like felt my life flash before my eyes. And I was like, ugh. And it took me a moment and I was like, can I move? Am I okay? Like, and I've gotten out just absolutely like fully pale, like just in shock. And I was like, have I actually done some damage? Like, have I just broken my neck? And obviously really thankful that that is as close as I ever want to get to an injury like that, that would have just changed my life.
I wonder if that's how I landed on the shark as well. That's why I don't remember it.
Maybe. Maybe you blacked out.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I hit it and I like got knocked out by the shark.
You
and
scorpioned yourself.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I'll take it back to shore, whatever.
That would be terrifying though. Like the neck is like a panic area, right?
Yeah.
Where like if anything hurts whatsoever,
Yeah.
you're like, that's it. I'm done.
The thing I always heard every time I was like, oh, you got to be careful with your neck. It's the highway to your nervous system.
There's a lot, like for so much that's going on and its importance, there's not a lot of protection.
No.
So, I mean, essentially, no, it wasn't a near-death experience, but it was a life-changing experience where I was like, my eyes were just open that it's like, wow, I need to be so much more careful before I go and do things, because a split second decision, I'm just out with a friend, we're just, jumping into a foam pit and...
Next minute, paraplegic.
Because I remember as a kid, I don't know if you guys had it too, like that television campaign about look before you leap and like don't jump into water, you don't know the depth and stuff like that. And like that, something that came from that.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
Like check the foam pit? Like
literally. Look, that's
don't do a triple sub.
Do a test jump. Like understand what you're jumping into. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that definitely, like I, even to this day, like I still think about that memory. I still think about that. And before I don't flip anymore.
You showed it.
My flipping days are over. Yeah.
Well, there was a while there where we joined a trampoline dodgeball team, actually.
Except for that time.
Then
I started backflipping, which was a different sort of flip. So
You can't help yourself.
I just want to be a flipper.
Discipline.
Well, I definitely didn't learn the look before you leap thing. I must have missed all those campaigns and ads and stuff like that. Because
You were the reason.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
My near-death experience is like not really that scary, but it's also water themed. Ironically, I would have been probably at like 11, and in our place we had ducks. A family of ducks move in, so like mum, dad, and half a dozen babies.
Cousins? grandparents?
No.
Full family?
No, I don't think they're that close.
Oh, okay.
I think they're like, once mum and dad get together, the rest of the family. So they all moved in, and like for the majority of it, like they were fine. We didn't notice them, but we did start to notice that the male became really territorial, hiss up, whatever. And so we kept our distance. And then there was one day where one of the ducklings couldn't get out of the pool. Like the water level had dropped enough that it was like, couldn't get out. And I like checked around, looked for the male. I was like, okay, we're fine. So calculated, thought about it.
Yeah.
And then I like jumped in the pool and like swam over and lifted the duckling out of the pool. And as I did it, kaboom, in the back of the head.
No way.
The male ducks come back in. And again, like, grand scheme of things, not that scary, but as an 11-year-old, I just was in pure panic mode.
You would have been fair game to the duck as an 11-year-old.
And he was in control.
Yeah.
And he, like, I could still see him coming at me along the waterline, and I'm ducking underwater. 6th or 7th time, I'm running out of air, and I'm really panicking. I'm like, because there's nothing telling me that I can beat this. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I'm going to die to a duck.
You know? Eventually, like I snapped myself out of it. I was like, enough! And so I picked the duck up and threw it to the other end of the pool, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you figured it out." And he kind of hung back there, but like
So,
came out in pure panic.
Was the duck sitting on top of the water, and you're underneath
On
the
top
water?
of me, yeah.
And like, would you move?
Pecking and like just all over me, making noise, splashing. So like sensory overload for me.
Yeah.
And not breathing.
You didn't own that pool
running out of
anymore.
air. I was like, yeah. And then got rid of him and then stepped out of the pool, and I was just like, never again. Never again. Respect the animals.
So you nearly drowned.
Yeah. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm going to drown if this keeps happening.
So what had that change you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, like just leave the animals. You don't know them. They don't know that you're trying to help. They're doing what they know.
Yeah.
Give them space.
It's their world. We're just
Give
living
them
in it.
space. You don't need to be a hero.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I was jumping on the shark. Just give him space. Don't need to be a hero.
All that ocean.
All that ocean. I just wanted that one speck. Nah.
That's his spot.
His spot.
But I haven't had that, like, I guess my point was I haven't had enough life or death experiences to re-change my course.
Have you since then, like, you know, that thought about potentially drowning, has that ever deterred you from any other water activities, or have you ever gotten back in the water and been like, oh?
No.
Or is it more about ducks?
I can't watch Looney Tunes now. No, it's more about ducks. Love water.
Yeah.
I'm a water kid, but more about you don't know how territorial they're going to be. But really, that doesn't really change my life. Like, I don't carefully walk into office
Looking for ducks.
or people that are like doing the same behavior, and I was like, ooh, steer
So
clear.
if we got like
steer
a
clear.
life-size human cut out of Daffy holding that 2-barrel shotgun and put that outside your door, like, would you get scared?
Whap it on. Anyone would get scared. What are you talking about? What you doing, Daff? How do you know where I live?
How'd you get inside my house?
I've had like oh, that was stupid moments, you know?
Yeah.
Where like I animal related, used to do wildlife rescue, volunteer, where you go out, you get a page or a call. There's a koala that's sick, you need to go and rescue it.
So you went from trying to be the wildlife hero to being deterred from being the wildlife hero to literally becoming the wildlife
To
hero.
be like,
Yeah.
right, back into it.
Straight back in.
What have you learned? Nothing.
Yeah. Be like, guys, I've done this before. I know what I'm doing.
I know I can throw ducks.
Yeah. Did you put that in your resume?
But you-
Get there, you're like,
But
this
yeah.
isn't all what it quacked up to be.
But it was, I would always, my rescue partner and I, we had the highest koala catch rate. So they knew that if we got a call for a koala, we'd get it.
They can be vicious though.
Oh my God. They will open you up. They are
Yeah.
like ball of muscle, that
Wow.
with like talons that will open up your arteries. Like just leave wild koalas alone. But when you got to rescue them, they got disease and whatnot. They get sick, they die, right?
So what was your process to catch them?
You actually have a pretty cool. It's not cool. It's like very simple. It's a telescopic stick with shredded garbage bag on the end. You shake that in front of a koala, and they will hightail it down the tree.
Oh.
And then I'm there with the welding gloves on, and
Yeah.
I grab the koala and just chuck him in the cage. And like 99% of the time, it's like a really smooth process.
What's the 1%?
Yeah.
The 1% is when I do stupid things like climb up the tree because the koala's not cooperating.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a moment where he was like looking at me and he was going to jump on me. And that was when I was like, oh, I've made a mistake.
This is not my tree.
No, that's That's when I was like, I gotta get down because he'll turn around and jump on me, and yeah, like I've still got a scar from where one bit me through the welding glove. Like it's not just their claws. Koalas have like these teeth that aren't like plates. They're like chomping down, and they're so strong.
I thought they just eat leaves.
They do, but like their mouth is overqualified for it.
Yeah, apparently.
Like like I said, like he clomped down on the welding glove. And then I had to like pull my hand out the glove and just let him tear into it. And I was like bleeding everywhere. And
Wow.
yeah, angry animals.
I mean, if I had chlamydia, I wouldn't be very happy either. Just going, no one's it. All right.
So I guess going back to our topic question of does a life-changing experience change your life?
I'm going to say from our examples, no. I think we repeat.
But you know
Jumps on a shark, continues to go back there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to point out it kind
Quits flipping. Trampoline gets put in front, flips again. Gets attacked by an animal. Climbs up a tree and chases one.
becomes a wildlife warrior.
So
So I guess it changes I would say it puts a pause in the moment. You reflect at the time, but it doesn't then change your life.
Yeah.
So therefore, maybe our examples aren't necessarily life-changing experiences.
Well, not to mention we all still have our limbs and, didn't get the worst case scenario of all these repercussions.
I think if you had to put the moment of reflection into a noise, it would be like, huh.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's just something that we think about, we can accept, but it doesn't really change
I think
my
we
day-to-day.
need to go and have more life or death experiences. 3, 2, 1, resolved.
all right, thanks guys for coming this week. We'll talk to you again next time, maybe, unless we go and have some bad near-death
And then there were
experiences.
2.
All right, bye.
See ya.
3, 2, 1, resolved.